You should have a visceral disgust for someone like Larry David, who's worth $400 million, sitting there and sneering and smearing the hardest working Americans for refusing to co-sign their own disinheritance. That's effectively what they are doing when these millionaires come out here and call Trump Hitler. They are calling working class Americans Nazis because they chose the person they thought would give their children back the future they were promised by this country.
Finally, somebody went on CNN and said it. This video is brought to you by SHINERGY Life, brought to you by SHINERGY Life. Ladies and gentlemen, it's finally here. We have the SHINERGY day and SHINERGY night drink. I've been drinking a day all day long. I can't stop drinking it. It tastes really, really good. You got to make sure you mix it well, but it tastes really, really good. You can travel with it on the airplane. You don't have to have cans and water bottles and you don't have to do none of that. Just mix that stuff with some water. Incredibly healthy, no sugar, all natural. And also, I can't wait to take the night drink. It's been a long week. I've been traveling everywhere, multiple cities, interviewing at the White House. Now we're at Talladega. I'm going to need some sleep. So go and get your SHINERGY at SHINERGYLife.com, SHINERGYLife.com. I can't wait to hear from you about how good it tastes. I don't know how they've been getting away with this for so many years, but it's incredibly asinine to me that every single person that they don't like, they call him Hitler. I don't know how Jews haven't came out and just boycotted CNN and said, how dare you compare anybody to Hitler? If the man ain't took the life of one Jew, how are you going to compare that person to Hitler? If the man is beloved in Israel and made the embassy, moved the embassy to Jerusalem, which every president promised to do, but never did except Trump, how are you going to compare that man to Hitler? It's crazy to me. I don't know how to say this woman's name, but I don't need to know how to say her name. I just know she killed it on CNN. Roll the clip.
And a person who half my family was murdered by the actual Hitler. In addition to it being deeply offensive to Jews, to call Trump Hitler is to call over 80 million Americans, 35% of Jewish Americans, 56% of Hispanic men, and the majority of Americans who make under $100,000 a year, Nazis, because those are the people who gave Donald Trump his victory. And I just have a pro tip for any Democrats who are thinking about winning back the working class, those people who make under $100,000 a year, who a majority of whom voted for Trump. You should have a visceral disgust for someone like Larry David, who's worth $400 million, sitting there and sneering and smearing the hardest working Americans for refusing to co-sign their own disinheritance. That's effectively what they are doing when these millionaires come out here and call Trump Hitler. They are calling working class Americans Nazis because they chose the person they thought would give their children back the future they were promised by this country. And it just has to stop.
So I guess this all started from a guy named Larry David. Wrote an essay or something like that comparing Trump to Hitler, and this all went off the rails. Even Bill Maher came out and made a statement about it, saying that it was completely wrong. Wrote a clip.
To use the Hitler thing, first of all, I just think it's kind of insulting to 6 million dead Jews. Like that should kind of be in its own place in history. And, I know people can say, well, we're just comparing it in this way. Well, it's an argument you kind of lost just to start it. It's just, look, maybe it's not completely logically fair, but Hitler has really kind of got to stay in his own place. He is the goat of evil, and we're just going to have to, I think, leave it like that. So, did I think that was appropriate? No, but people have the right to...
Did you know he was going to do it?
Of course not. And people.
So how did you find out?
My publicist said, this is going on today and you should know it. And I was like, oh, okay.
Anybody knows it's wrong. Stevie Wonder can see. A pastor used to use this phrase, and I think he said, Ray Charles can see and Stevie don't have to wonder. That this has got to be the dumbest thing in the world to try to call Trump Hitler. And the funny thing is that this is the tactic from the left to do whenever they disagree with you. you're a racist, you're a sellout, you're a race traitor, you're Hitler. I mean, they go down the list, you're a Nazi. And then they try to say on CNN that this woman was wrong for what she said. No, she wasn't. You cannot get on there and Scott Jennings. We might as well play that clip from Scott Jennings yesterday.
It's about making sure that there is white supremacy in this country. And if we're honest, we will say that. It is about making sure we will make sure that people who DEI is really all these code words. You used to use woke. I asked you to define what woke meant. You couldn't really define it for me. Tell me what it means again.
Woke ideology is taking extreme views of American culture and trying to tear down America from the inside out and go outside of our cultural norms and invade every corporation, university, and other institutions.
What is DEI?
That's incorrect.
Tell me that's incorrect. But what is DEI? Tell me again.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion, and trying to guarantee outcomes instead of guarantee opportunity.
Trump's cabinet looks like DEI.
I was speaking. If I could just finish.
I do want us to not get off the rails because
she just said we're all white supremacists. We got to address this, don't we?
Saying a whole swath of voters and saying they voted because they're racist or misogynist, not
I
because
didn't say
their pocketbook.
Those were my words, yours. But go ahead.
Okay, but
you said it was about white supremacy.
I said it was
Democrats will keep losing if they do that.
All the voters were white supremacists, but it's not about eggs. She said it was about pocketbook issues. It's not about pocketbook issues.
You don't think people were at all motivated by the state of the economy?
Of course they were. Absolutely. But yes, and you're smart enough to know yes, and yes, they were upset about pocketbook issues, and they're also upset about what people are.
They do have an opportunity, but we're treated to sort of similar comments to what Kerry made tonight about race, white supremacy, all of Trump's ideology and people and voters and everything. It's all about white supremacy. This was rejected in the election. Democrats ran this was the animating thing of the Harris campaign, and it was rejected.
Okay.
Was it?
And I am constantly shocked at what you're not aware of, which is Donald Trump's performance.
I'm constantly shocked at what you're not aware of.
I don't know. I tend to be more right about it than you are. But the reality is he did better. He did better among minority voters than any Republican in a half a century.
Yeah,
and I seem to be totally unaware of it.
Scott Jennings came on here and said the same thing. Like, when you guys are saying this is a I don't know, a whistleblower effect or whatever they try to say, that this is about white supremacy. This is about neo-Nazi. And Trump's being elected is to preserve the white race and all this stuff. You're essentially saying that every single person that voted for him, at least the majority of people that voted him, are racist white people, or racist people in general. And then when you call Trump Hitler, you're literally saying everybody support him as a Nazi. You can't divorce your argument from that once you paint him as Hitler. Because as a Trump supporter, you're saying that I support Hitler. You're saying that I was akin to the Nazis. And that's the most asinine thing you could ever say in the history of statements. But anyway, the young lady whooped him like a bad step kid that they ain't got a whooping from his real daddy. That's how the whooping happened. Anyway, y'all comment in the comment section. Are y'all sick of them talking about Hitler? I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.